Hey, my brothers in Christ, how you doing? This is Mike from Attention Span Labs. Notice I say brothers in Christ because according to YouTube, approximately 4 women ever have watched any of my 50 plus videos. No, it's actually more than that. It's like 2.7%. So anyway, today, this video is going to be a Attention Span Labs recommends, but also a hobby vlog. Vlog is a very humorous word. I think it's like either a sound that frogs make or a Dutch riotous party. The Vlaams vlog. If you enjoyed that humorous observation, please like and subscribe. Well, anyway, on with the show. What you see in front of you are the things I want to recommend. I'm going to show you some other things I'm working on hobby-wise. The recommendation here, not these, I made these barbed wire posts. I'm not really ready to show them off in detail because I made them very quickly at Historicon and part one of a good session that was about, revealed some mysteries of making barbed wire terrain. Most importantly, what to use for the wire. Because I was in a hurry, I had to use what do you call it, hot glue. And I mean, hot glue is fine for the base, not good for when you can see it. But so I want to strip that off and maybe paint them a little better, touch up some stuff. But then I'll probably do a whole video on that and reveal the mysteries of the wire to you guys. But these are here for visual effect, because what I want to recommend to you here are these foxholes. These defensive fighting, I guess they're not all foxholes. This is a sangar, I guess. These are defensive fighting positions. And they are produced by Ironclad Miniatures out of the UK. And I ordered them a couple weeks ago. I got them in 5 days. I painted them all a day or two later. They're obviously very easy to paint. So these are resin. These are cast resin. You can see there some of the bubbles there, but they define and these are great because if you've tried to model foxholes on the table, you know that they're kind of a pain in the butt. So, you know, if you have like a foam table or something raised that you can drill down into and actually put your figures beneath the table, you know, beneath the level of the table to represent it being a hole. Or you can build like these lumpy things. And these are kind of these are a compromise in that because they're very well done. And they're obviously raised as dirt. The dirt that you use to build the foxhole will be raised above the level of the ground, and but they're very consistent. Look very good, as you can see. I have my American bolt action troops in there, and I'm trying to focus, but that's yeah, there you go. A little too close. But the really annoying thing about building foxholes is that because of, whether you're digging them out or whatever usually you're making them out of stuff that's squishy and lumpy and you kind of mold, and it's good for the organic effect that you need for the rocks and the dirt and everything, because it's not symmetrical. It can be hard to get them to fit the bases of your troops. Now these fit the 25mm style bases perfectly. And this sangar here, let me zoom out. This sangar, and it does have the wood in there, and it's buttressed and sandbagged. These fit the bases of your support teams, your mortar teams, your machine gun teams. You see, they just slide right in there. They're not all the way up against the wall. You can see I have this mortar team here, and they're a little bit of a gap there, but good enough. Certainly better than the sangars that I've built that I could have swore when I took measurements that they would fit, but I didn't want to make them too large. Because when you give yourself a little bit more leeway, you want to make them big, but you don't want to make them ridiculously big. And then they end up not fitting. So anyway, these are great. So I have these individual foxholes, this sangar, and this maybe you call it, I don't know. This is a sangar too, I guess, but it's entrenched on all sides like a slit trench. You can see that holds 2 men. can see in there. So what I did, I spray painted these black, and then I gave them a coat of another color. I don't know if it was gray or I honestly don't remember, even though it was only a couple days ago. You can sort of see the inside of here. And then I painted them with raw umber or burnt umber, a dark brown paint, and went through 3 shades of highlight, focusing especially on the lightest shades on, of course, the rocks. There's plenty of rocks molded in there, as you can see. Some larger ones. Sorry about that, hit the wrong button. Some larger ones than others on the large sets of the 2 sangars. And give them a dry brush. This also has a piece of wood left there, and I gave them a very light dusting of flock. I didn't use static grass on these bases because I thought it's mostly representing stuff that has been turned up. If you've ever dug a hole, you're throwing a lot of grass around, and the blades don't usually. The blades are buried sideways, so I don't think that would look quite right unless these were in place for a while and the grass has already grown back. This is this kind of like scrub grass, and this is a woodland scenics mixed turf blend, if you care, it matters. But very easy to do. I think I painted all of them and flocked them, not including drying time, in like two hours. And that was, doing some details on the washes on the wood and everything. But these are great. These are extremely useful. They're and they're for something. Yes, could you build these yourself? Yes. But if you want to build a lot of them, it's kind of tedious. And as I said, it can be frustrating if your bases don't fit. And to be clear, it's not just the bolt action, guys. Any 25mm base will fit in these. Here's a lizard man on a thicker base. All right, he has a tail, but he still fits in there. He's kind of sticking out because of his tail. I should have picked a different miniature. But your old Space Marines will fit in there. Your modern stuff that uses 25mm base from any kind will fit in there just fine. The best part about these are that they're very inexpensive. These foxholes are $4 a piece. I think the sangar and this like slit trench here were $6 or $7 or $8. I mean, for the amount of, if you're mass producing, if you're making one, it'd be pretty easy. But if you have to mass produce a lot of them, and you're not molding and casting it, which obviously is what the gentleman at Ironclad Miniatures did, it's going to be prohibitive. Time prohibitive, and you're waiting. You're actually going to, if you're using like sculpt mold, you're going to take it like a day to dry probably, before you can really get in on it. So, but if you want to make your own, by all means. But if you don't want to make your own, and we all have opportunity costs in the world of terrain and miniature gaming, so it's okay that even if you make most of your stuff, that it's okay to buy some stuff sometimes to flesh it out. These I totally recommend. They were inexpensive. The shipping was good, and the shipping got here fast. So check out Ironclad Miniatures, and I'll have a link down below. Now, more onto the vlog part. Let me show you what I got going on here. Speaking of defensive fighting positions, whereas the kind I just showed you were a very nice, sort of improvised ones. These are the monument to the stupidity of mankind. These are the fixed. I'm just kidding. These are the fixed fortress walls, and I got a bunch of these down at Historicon. I got them in the flea market, Wally's Basement. Now these are from Kromlech. Kromlech is a Polish company who I use a lot of MDF terrain, and I'm going to move the camera so I get a better view of these, and we'll talk about both some techniques I have of building them, and maybe how I'm going to paint them and what I intend to do with them. Stand by. Alright, so now that I've brought these better into focus, these are, as I mentioned, MDF kits from Kromlech, also known as Bits of War. Kromlech is a Polish company, and they make very good MDF kits. I have quite a few of them. If you've seen my World War II videos, most of the structures I have that are not 3D printed are kits from Kromlech, including like the barn, the shed and chicken shack, and most notoriously the pig pen. I'll explain why I say notoriously. These are very good kits. So as I said, they're good quality. They're reasonably priced. Now I got each of these sets for $5, and I'll show you more of them. But they're from their tabletop scenics range. They have a very wide range that runs from, World War II, interwar Europe kind of stuff to sci-fi. They have fantasy. They have orc buildings. They have these Imperial style barricades. They have hive city buildings, and you can go on and check them out yourself. I do recommend them, but somewhat guardedly because, this is what I mean. They are, they fit very well together. They're precision engineered, but the instructions are awful. The instructions are as bad as like the Mega Bloks Halo instructions, where they give you way too many things to do on one page, and you're kind of not sure because of the computer generated photography, the orientation of the pieces, or some pieces are hidden by other things, and they basically try to get some complicated builds on, this was not a super complicated build, but this tank bunker, I think they call this Imperator's tank defensive position. There's a lot of pieces that go into that, and they tried to do it on 2 pages, and it doesn't quite work. I mean, obviously I did it, but I'm skilled at these things, and it took me a while to learn some tricks, but now they go together pretty fast. Now, my favorite MDF company, not to throw shade at Kromlech or anything, is Sarissa. And the reason why Sarissa Precision is my favorite is because they have very good quality buildings as well, but the instructions are good, and they're easy to build. I never stress out with the Sarissa building. I very rarely break pieces, and I almost never glue my fingers together. Unlike this, I think I've glued my fingers. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, this is 4 separate kits here, and I've glued my fingers together at least twice in each kit. Yeah. Okay, that's partly my fault, but they're a little fiddly. The fit is great if you put it in the right spot, but it's not always guaranteed you're going to put it in the right spot because of the weird instructions sometimes. But the tricks I've learned basically is obviously you want to dry fit everything, right? But I go further than that. I say fit it, snap it into place, make sure it looks right, take a step back, make sure everything's angled in the right direction, make sure based on your knowledge of how things are going to connect to it. Am I putting this on backwards? Because it's very easy to put pieces on backwards too. So do that, and then once you're sure it's in place, then leave it in place and glue it by putting dabs of glue on the posts or the seams, and use thin super glue. You can use wood glue. Problem with wood glue is it's going to take quite a bit longer to dry than super glue, obviously. And there are some seams here you can tell that even super glue did not dry fast enough to hold it together, and I had to use baking soda to accelerate the process. You can use accelerators too, but baking soda I think provides a little bit stronger bond. But not bad to put together. I'm in the hang of it now. But that's my trick. Like eventually, especially these like angled corners. Once you put a couple of them together, you'll know to build them by heart. And you snap them into place and put the glue around, and you don't try to like put the glue on beforehand, because that's how your fingers get stuck. And that's how, if you, God forbid, put it in the wrong spot, and then you have to pry it apart and try not to break it. Yeah, so these are cool. These are modular. Here's the back section of one of the straight wall sections, and they have these window shutters that some of them are very, very snug fits, and they're meant to go up and down, but honestly most of them are so snug I wouldn't want to do it all the time for fear of breaking them. But these window shutters have a very nice layered effect there. Really like that on the windows. It looks like a real, I mean they are 3-dimensional obviously, but it looks like it has that real weight and heft of an armored wall structure. But these are also connected to each other, as you can see here, by virtue of these window slats. So this defensive tank position, I'll turn it around for you so you can see inside. And it's very wide. You can easily, this is a Reptilian Overlord Cayman tank. You've seen this before, 3D printed. It's a large tank. It's larger than a Lehman Russ. I don't know how it compares to whatever the Roboldorn or whatever. I think I have not. I have a Bane blade in the box. I think it would fit the Bane blade. I'm not entirely sure, but it's a very big. It definitely fits. If you still play that game, it definitely fits. Or if you have the old models and play them a different game, it definitely fits other tanks. And here's a 3D printed Maverick tank, and this is like a, not finished yet, but it's a Whirlwind, so you can see that's about the size of the original Space Marine style tanks, and that they're the smaller tanks. Fits in there very easily. I think you could fit like 1.5 of them in there. So yeah, you could even fit it sideways. So it's very big. I think you could fit a super heavy in there, or one of your large 3D printed Space Mace 69 Commissar Gamza models. That's even bigger, so maybe you wouldn't fit this in there. Anyway, just so you can see. And these connect by virtue of these window slats, as I said. They're not just decoration, or they actually, that's how they connect. Now I also got this 90-degree section, and it's basically a straight wall section with these corners. I got a 45-degree section I haven't built yet. I have a bunker. And that's all the things I haven't built. Now my friend got a bunch of other things, including like a watchtower and everything. Here's this is an interesting one. This has a hinged door. It has working hinges, but I just put straight pins in there, cut and snip them off, so that it actually opens and shuts. Again, nice bulk. It has believable weight to it for scale. You got the nice layered portal effect there. Really like this. The thing I don't like necessarily is there's no way to connect this like this. It's actually like a 90-degree, which is fine, except that it's only this wide. So you have to, this basically has to be formed, if you can, let me see this. There you go. It has to be formed as a corridor like this, which is fine, but if you wanted something larger, not as narrow, whatever. So, yeah, these are good kits. I don't know how much they run now from their tabletop scenics range. It's been a while since I bought for them. But these I bought secondhand, bought them for $5 a piece, which I think is a very good price. So, what I may do, obviously I said these are meant to be modular, and you can restructure them on the table anywhere you feel like. But what I think I'm going to do is actually incorporate some of these, especially since my friend who I went to Historicon with, he bought 7 of these sets of different, so we have some doubles, and at some point you just have fortifications going across the whole table, and that's too much. You don't need that many, almost ever, because you've got to have room for the enemy to maneuver and assault you and stuff like that. But I'm going to, I think, incorporate some of these into a fixed terrain build, similar to the Watchtower that you can see a video of in my playlist, where it's, these wall sections will be built in, and then they're bermed over, like they're built in like parts that are jutting, especially this part, maybe this door, this blast door, as an entrance like at the bottom of the mountain, something like this. And the berm will be here, and then I have another, like a large tower structure, either one I'll build similar to the Watchtower, or this one right here. I've had this for about, pretty much since my son's been born, so about 6 years now. I never finished putting it together. But, so something like this, and let me move the camera up. Try and visualize. So again, this is like coming out of a hill, very rocky section, and then it goes up, and this is on top, and the whole tower is above there. And I may even make other entrances for a tank section for vehicles to come out, either large or probably smaller tanks, deodorant tanks, and so forth. But all right, I think that's about all I have for you today. I hope that you liked the video. I hope you find some of my suggestions useful, and you'll check out some of these companies. These are, for the most part, small companies. They're independent folks, and I tell you about them because I believe in them, because I like their product, but also because they need support. They're not huge names, and I want people to expand their wargaming experience. So they're good. Check them out. Let me know if you did. Let me know if you have other experiences with them or other tricks assembling MDF buildings. Check out the scale there next to these Afterlife guys from Anvil Industry. By the way, I was distressed to find that Anvil no longer makes these particular miniatures anymore. If someone from Anvil is watching, I hope that they will release them as part of a 3D printable kit, or just sort of release them again. I know they're coming out with a new version of Afterlife, but these minis are awesome, and I hope they will, because now that you're seeing them, you're like, I gotta get me those minis. But they don't make them anymore. They do make other Afterlife minis, but not these particular ones. So Anvil, if you're listening, make them again. The other thing I want to bring to your attention is my Gilded server. I started a few days ago. You can join it. There's a link in the community tab of my channel. It's a community of Christian gentlemen wargamers and role-playing adventure gamers. If you don't know what a Gilded is like a Discord, except unlike Discord, it's not run by pedophiles. So they're not going to ban you for, holding values that, everybody in the world held a mere 10 years ago. So it's relatively free speech. You don't have to worry about being, especially like Discord now is banning people. I've known some friends who were disappeared because of stuff they said, not even on Discord. But we're trying to avoid that. And maybe in the future, Gilded will also be taken over by the Rainbow Mafia and the global communist totalitarian World Economic Forum, New World Order junta. But until then, you can find someplace else then. But check it out, because why you want to join it is now we're actually working on an online campaign. It's going to be sci-fi themed, miniature and rules agnostic, and you can discuss our preparations on there. I'm working on it with several other members of the Gilded, including Cornish Crusade. So check out his channel as well, which I'll put a link to in the comments. But if you're a wargamer, whether you have your own channel or not, join and help us work on fleshing this out, and then we'll establish on this channel how to do battle reports. And right now the campaign is shaping up to be a kind of sci-fi version of the Boxer Rebellion. So if that interests you, definitely check us out. All right, I think that's all I have for today. So God bless everyone, and thank you for watching. Attention Span Lab signing out.